Hey everyone, this is Rohit. Welcome to the first in a series of videos in which I'm going to be talking about OAuth 2.0 bin. This is a little side project that I worked on last year. As you can see on the slide, it's a free open source and RFC-compliant test server for the OAuth 2.0 authorization framework. Now, even though I'm calling this series a code walkthrough, it will be more than that. It's supposed to be a thorough discussion, and I will be talking about the concepts and the flows of the protocols, and won't just be talking about and showing you my implementation of it. So if you're not interested in this project but you are interested in OAuth 2.0 in general, then I would suggest sticking around. The reason I'm doing this series is because when I started learning about OAuth 2.0, I could not find any good resources that went beyond just the high-level explanations of the protocol, which can be a bit too primitive if you want to actually implement the specifications. You want to learn the stuff in more detail than that. So in this introductory episode, we'll first quickly talk about my project, OAuth 2.0 bin, then OAuth 2.0 in general, and the RFC that specifies it. Then we'll make a very important distinction between authorization and authentication, which is important because, well, OAuth 2.0 is an authorization framework. Finally, I'll give you a high-level walkthrough of the protocol to get a sense of how things work and how OAuth 2.0 achieves its goals. So let's talk about OAuth 2.0 bin. We covered the first 2 points in the first slide. It's written in Go. I would like to mention that, of course, since this is a code walkthrough. The only library I'm using is ReadyGo because, well, OAuth 2.0 bin persists to Redis. I'm planning on making this freely available on OAuth2bin.org. The idea is to have something similar to HTTP bin by Kenneth Wrights. So yeah, that's coming up soon. The link to the GitHub repository is in the description. I just quickly want to show you how the home page looks like. You can even try this out in your own browser. I have set it up on Heroku, so OAuth2bin.herokuapp.com. Check that out. This is the home page. So there are these 4 different flows in OAuth 2.0, and I've implemented each and every one of them. And if you click on them, the card expands and you can see the parameters that would be required by your OAuth client. Now, I will be giving a tour of OAuth 2.0 bin in the next episode, so we'll take a better look at this next time. You can also check out the source code on github.com, my name /OAuth2bin. And yeah, again, this is the code walkthrough. We will be looking at this in the upcoming episodes. So let's move on to OAuth 2.0 and RFC 6749. I don't want to spend too much time here right now because these concepts and the ideas will be more clear to you as we progress through the series. But if you're new to the protocol, this is what you need to know. It's a protocol for authorization. It's specified in RFC 6749, the link to which is in the description, and it has multiple flows in it. So depending on what kind of a client you're using, OAuth 2.0 uses a different flow. It offers different flows. All you need to understand right now is that OAuth 2.0 powers these buttons online: sign in with Google, sign in with Facebook, and so on. We'll look at it again in more detail in the upcoming slides. Let's move on to the more interesting bit. This authorization versus authentication. Now, we have to make this distinction because OAuth 2.0, as I said, is an authorization framework. So what does it exactly mean to authorize something? Well, it means that, here's the Oxford meaning: give official permission or approval to do something, right? So let's say your friend doesn't have a network connection on their phone, and he or she wants to make a phone call using your phone. So you authorize him or her to use it by unlocking it. So like, you unlock it, you give it to them, you're authorizing them, right? Like, it's okay for them to use it. Whereas authentication is the process or action of proving or showing something to be true, genuine, or valid. So yeah, it's basically trying to prove the identity or trying to verify the identity of something. So back to the same example of making a phone call, when you try to unlock your phone asks for your fingerprint, or these days we have facial recognition. So your phone is authenticating your identity. It's verifying your identity. So the takeaway here is that, well, authorization does not deal with identity. It only deals with the grant of a permission, whereas authentication deals with identity. As I said, again, OAuth 2.0 deals with authorization and it does not support authentication. However, if you wish to add authentication to OAuth 2.0, you might want to check out OpenID Connect. We won't be looking at OpenID Connect in this series. So I hope you're clear that OAuth 2.0 is about authorization. Now, let's move on to the most interesting bit of this video. Here, you will understand what exactly authorization means in OAuth 2.0. How do you authorize in a system of services? This is going to be a massive oversimplification, and it's only meant to give you a general sense of things and illustrate how OAuth 2.0 well achieves authorization. Now, there are multiple parties involved in OAuth 2.0. So I think the best way to understand the protocol is to look at the conversation that happens between these parties. So what I've done is made a little bit of let's call it an informal conversation between these parties to help you understand how this protocol works. Again, massive oversimplification, please keep this in mind. So the example we are going with consists of a user. This may be you, this may be someone else, anyone. This user is shopping on an online t-shirt store. Now, this could be anything, this could be literally any website, but the way these stores, online stores, work is that you add whatever you're buying to a shopping cart and then you check out. So this user has added everything he or she wants to their shopping cart and now they want to check out. So the conversation would go something like this, right? Hey, I'm done shopping and I wish to check out. And the t-shirt store will of course prompt you to log in first, because obviously they need to verify who exactly is buying stuff from them. Now, this t-shirt store is nice because they allow you to do the traditional, create an account using your email address. They do offer that, but they also offer sign in with Google, which is obviously convenient. And you're lazy, everyone is, so we select Google, we sign in with Google. Google is just an example, okay? I'm not endorsed by Google or anything here. It could be Facebook, Microsoft, Apple, anything, literally anything. I'm just going with Google because that's typically what I do. So when you choose Google, you click on the sign in with Google button, right? So this t-shirt store is going to be like, okay, let me talk to Google about that. Let's see how we can work this out. So before we proceed, let's talk about the involved parties here, because I think that's necessary before we see any of their interactions. You are of course the user. You want to sign into the t-shirt store using Google. Now the t-shirt store in this case would have to fetch all of your information, all the information that it needs from Google, right? Because you are too lazy to provide it directly, but you would like, yeah, just get it from Google. So the t-shirt store will need access to your information from Google. Now Google is going to obviously have all of this information. What information could it be, you ask? It could be your name, it could be your email address, it could be your phone number, stuff like that. Now Google is going to have all of this information stored on its resource server. Okay, now this resource server will have some sort of a REST API or a web service running. The resource server has your information. That is the takeaway here. The t-shirt store will have to request the resource server for this information. Thus, it becomes a client in this situation. Thus, the t-shirt store is the OAuth 2.0 client here. But the t-shirt store cannot directly access the resource server. Google will need you, the user, to authorize t-shirt store before it can access your information on the resource server. And surprise, surprise, since we're talking about authorization, Google's authorization server will handle that. So let's see how this interaction would go. You've clicked, remember, you have clicked on the sign in with Google button. Now the t-shirt store will be like, hey Google, can you help a user log in? I have this user who wants to log in, and Google will be like, sure, I'll handle that. Then this is the point where you are taken to the Google sign in page, right? Google will be like, hey, please log into your Google account. I need to know whether or not you're a Google user and who you are, and I want to know who you are exactly. And of course, you log in, you provide your username, your password, you're like, this is me, and Google will verify your credentials, and now you're logged in. Great. Now you proceed to the authorization screen, right? We see that screen which says, this t-shirt store needs to log in. I'm sorry, t-shirt store wants to view dash dash information. They want access to this stuff. Is that cool? And of course, you click on OK without reading any of the permissions that the application needs because you're too lazy for that. Let the t-shirt store access that. Google is like, okay, amazing. Now, did you just see what happened? You authorized the t-shirt store to access your information from Google. Google asked you if it's okay, and you granted Google permission to let t-shirt store access whatever data they have, whatever data Google has about you on their resource server. So as a result of this, Google will now give the t-shirt store a little token as proof of this authorization, so that later on we can verify that, well, this authorization really did happen. So the t-shirt store will of course keep that token safe, and now it will be like, hey Google, I need some information about XYZ. Here's the token that you had given me before. Now the t-shirt store will try to access whatever information it wanted to access about you from Google's resource server. So now it will send a request to the resource server. This could be a RESTful request, a REST API call, and it will attach this little token to each and every one of those requests, and Google will verify if the token exists. It will see, is this token legit? Now of course Google will have some sort of a database of tokens, and if it finds this little token there, it's going to grant whatever information it has about you to the t-shirt store, because now it can be sure that, well, the user has obviously authorized this client, this t-shirt store is the client, to view that information. And this is basically how OAuth 2.0 works. Again, this was a massive oversimplification, and that's it for this episode. We'll look at OAuth 2.0 and all of its flows in detail in the upcoming videos, but this was really the essence of it. This is how authorization works. So yeah, that's it for this episode. At the time of making this video, the entire world is in quarantine due to COVID-19, the disease caused by the new coronavirus. India has declared a 21-day lockdown, so I'm at home and I will be releasing new videos very soon. So please consider subscribing if you found this useful. Hit the bell icon so that you are notified when the next episode is out. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something through this. See you next time.